from the Uccellos in Caledonia, our final show of the season. The season is absolutely blown by. We're going to be talking, of course, Davenport football. Coach Sparky McEwen joins us. He's brought along a young man, redshirt sophomore, showing great promise on the defense and special teams. We'll visit with him. Also going to talk a little women's basketball a little later on. Travis Schuba, the interim head coach for the women's basketball program, will join us today as well. And we'll also preview Davenport's final game of the season this Saturday in Allendale against Grand Valley State at 1 o'clock. The game will be 1 o'clock kickoff at GVSU. And we'll have, of course, our pregame start Saturday at about 12:20 with a rebroadcast of this, which you might be listening to right now on Magic 104.9. Coach McEwen joins us right now as we look back to last Saturday. The first thing you want to mention, of course, is 14 seniors played their final game on their home field, and that's always a tough time. I know that the players, I know, get sentimental as far as their career coming to an end at home, but the coaches get attached to these young men too, I know.
All the time, and coaches talk before this game in regards to, do you remember your last home game, of your college career? And every one of the coaches, they remember their final game, and we talked about it as a team, and we really wanted to go out and give these guys, an opportunity to go out, winning their last home game. And we knew it was a tall order. We knew we were going against the best, and they knew it was going to take a monumental effort. But all I ask these guys is give you all and put yourselves in position to be successful by great efforts.
And Fair State, number one in the land, was as good as advertised, I think we can say.
They are. They have a very good football team, and, they're able to run the football. They're able to pass the football. They're playing really good defense, and when you're going against a team that, obviously a conference power, a team with tradition and history of winning at a high level, you got to go in and you got to be near perfect, when you're playing against them, and also being near perfect, you better be able to line up with your best, and unfortunately we were not even close to playing perfect, and we definitely didn't come out with all the best players that we could definitely field on that day.
Back to your seniors. Senior Seth Octa made one of the most heads-up plays I think we've seen on that field on a deflected pass that he came from off the ball and made a complete dive horizontal to parallel to the playing field and made an incredible diving catch for a touchdown off the deflection. Really alert play.
It's that play was an amazing play in itself, but I was joking with our AD in regards to it. He goes, I guess you practice that. And I said, no, really, we do practice that. But I was talking about the play. The play that Ferris jumped off sides, and our guys, there's specifics that they have to do on that play, and those kids executed perfectly. Now, the ending results, obviously we don't work on a diving catch in the end zone. But it was deflected, and it was a very heads-up play by a young man that has spent some great times, there, and has shown a lot of maturity over the years, and went out, in his last game, at his university and scored a touchdown.
You mentioned that you practice that play. Your freshman quarterback, Jake Jensen, how many times you watch a game where they get the team to jump off sides and they just throw the ball as far as they can instead of putting it up for grabs, which is what he did. He put it in the right spot. Even though there were two defenders there, that was the right play.
Yeah, Jake put the ball right where he was supposed to with our guys, and our guy had a shot at it, and it was actually tipped. A great effort by one of their guys, and out of nowhere fly Seth. He laid out and made a great catch and to get us on the board. So, with a tough year of scoring, we're going to take them how we can get them, and I couldn't be more happy for Jake and Seth.
Another heads-up play by sophomore Nick Cain, who's going to join us in just a couple minutes. He came in on a fourth down punting situation, a fumble, a scoop, and a score. And boy, that was certainly one of the highlights of the game for you Saturday.
It was, and Coach Walker does a really good job with our special teams, and our guys were alerted to a potential fake at that point in time in the game, and they've got a young man that was punting, He's a dual threat. He's a receiver. He's actually one of the last recruits that I had there at Fair State. And he's so athletic that, he commands a lot of attention. And Nick, along with a couple other, guys, did a great job of containing him. We got the block, and for him to scoop that thing up and score, all week, all year, actually, I've been talking to the special teams and defense, saying, hey, we're struggling on this end. If you guys can, scoop and score, get a pick six or whatever. The week before, we had a sack with a fumble and a score, and they waved it off, but, obviously the wave off was incorrect. The score obviously was correct. So our guys, we got to try and get it any way we can.
So back to the coaching element, as far as whether it's on special teams or on straight defense, what is the overall philosophy as to players when to dive on the fumble, when to try to scoop and score?
Well, that comes down to each coaching staff and head coach. I tell my guys, anytime we have a chance to score, the football, I want to score the football. When we're in practice, if we have a fumble, I instruct my offense, don't jump on it. Let the defense get used to, scooping and scoring. I want them in that right frame of mind. I want those guys to be able to attack the end zone as often and as many times as they can. So we actually practice some of those things. There's times that, maybe you should just fall under, but for the most part, I try to keep my guys aggressive.
All right, Sparky, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back with Nick Cain, a sophomore player. Before we do that, tell us a little bit about him and what he brings to your program.
Oh, Nick's an amazing young man. Unfortunately for him, he's gone through some pitfalls in regards to injuries. He's had a couple ACL injuries. Here's a guy that, I went out early when I arrived here at, at DU and saw this young man playing. And he's one of the young guys that can either play offense or defense. And, we brought him in as an athlete. And when he got here, we had high expectations for him. And all of a sudden, boom, he runs into an ACL injury. And then he worked his butt off. I mean, this guy just worked his butt off. He got back healthy. And then all of a sudden, he tears his ACL again. And, that for a young person could be devastating mentally. But you know what? He picked right back up where he left off before, and I can't tell you how proud I am of him to see him and his resiliency through his rehab, his tough rehab, and now all of a sudden it's paying off for him.
All right, we'll take a break, come back with Nick Cain. Again, we'll talk more as you watch and listen to the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia.
West Michigan home buyers, if you're considering lenders, please contact Mario Flores at 231-638-0200 at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lake Shore. It's a wonderful time to be in the market for a mortgage when you choose Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lake Shore. Van Dyke's loan experts know how to help you prepare and help you get approved. Don't wait for the market to be perfect. Start your planning with Mario Flores, branch manager at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lake Shore.
Mario Flores, NMLS number 135862. Van Dyke Mortgage Corporation, Corp. NMLS number 3035. 231-638-0200. MarioFlores.VanDykeMortgage.com. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
And we continue with the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia, our final show of the season. I want to thank the good folks here at Uccello's, Mario and the gang, our super waitress Brittany, who just took fantastic care of us all season long. We're joined now by Nick Cain, sophomore on the team from Pinckney, Michigan, and as Coach mentioned, went through some injuries. Nick, let's talk a little bit about that injury, the rehab, and how you kept yourself mentally in tune, because that's a tough blow. You've been an athlete your whole life, and all of a sudden, bang, you get an ACL, and you're out.
Yeah, it was definitely a bump in the road for me. I'm just thankful that I have, a great support system. I got great friends, great family, and they just kind of made sure that I kept my head on straight. Obviously, after that second one, the thought about hanging up the cleats went through my head, but I knew that I was playing for a lot more than just myself, so that kind of pushed me to push through the rehab process a little bit harder and make sure I came back 100%.
You mentioned the support you had with that as well. Was there a moment that you look back and say, when you had that second one and you were thinking about maybe it's time to hang it up and get on with the rest of your life, what was it that all of a sudden made you say, nope, I still got some football left in me?
Kind of my whole life, I just decided that I wasn't a quitter. I'm not going to quit anything. And a long phone call with my mom just kind of set the tone for me and the rest of my time here at Davenport.
Well, your mom, Carrie, and your dad, Steve, certainly very supportive of you. Had to be special for you on senior day, even though you're not a senior, to get a chance to scoop and score. Walk us through that play Saturday, and how you saw it. Just take it step by step.
Well, I knew that they had a really good athlete at punter, and a couple of my teammates were alerting, watch the fake, so I kind of made sure that I forced my guy inside so I could get my eyes in the backfield. And one of the seniors, actually, Leon Crawford, made a great tackle, forced the ball out, and then got right back up and made a block that allowed me to get down the sideline and into the end zone.
Had to be a fantastic thrill, and we should mention that Nick was quite the athlete in high school at Pinckney High, all-state, not only in football, but in track and field as well. Tell us about your track and field career.
I started running track my junior year just as kind of something to pass time.
Okay.
And then became really close with my coach, and he kind of got my head right in track, got me really focused, and got that competitive nature that I bring to football and track. And we went to the state meet, finished 5th, I think, and it was a great time.
Nick, tell us about your coaches coming into college. Was there one coach anywhere along the line, whether you go back to middle school or high school or football or track, was there one coach in particular that really helped mold you into the athlete that you are today?
Well, my football coach, Rod Beaton, and then also my track coach, Matt Girardi, both those guys just coach with such passion, and I think that kind of set the foundation of me as a football player, that I have to match that passion. I got to bring that passion on the field, onto the track, and anything I do really in order to be successful.
Well, you're a business administration major. You sound like a future coach. Have you thought about that down the road at all?
Not really. I like to live in the moment, take it day by day, and I live my life like that.
What are you thinking about maybe that business major doing with that maybe when your Davenport days are done?
I'm really attracted to the logistics field. I like the supply chain. I like how fast-paced it is. I did an internship out in Grand Haven over the summer. And
who was that with?
Sunset Transportation.
Tell us about that experience, what you did on a daily basis.
So they're a freight brokerage that do... They basically make sure that freight gets from point A to point B smoothly, and if there is any problems, they take care of it. And it was just cool to see that kind of side of the logistics and the supply chain.
All right. Again, now looking ahead to next year, what strides do you need to make in the off season so that come next year you're a better football player for Davenport?
Really just work on my craft, get bigger, get faster, get stronger, and really, I'm not thinking about next season until Sunday morning, because we got Grand Valley coming up on Saturday, and that's my number one priority right now.
That's the right answer. Very good. Nick Cain, redshirt sophomore from Pinckney. Thanks. Great job. Great seeing you get in the end zone Saturday on that scoop and score. We'll take another break. We're going to come talk about women's basketball in Davenport as we continue with the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia.
Mortgage on the Lakeshore's commitment to finding the right home loan for you is second to none. The experienced licensed team at Van Dyke on the Lakeshore will work hard to give you a smooth and timely mortgage process from application to closing. Mario Flores, branch manager of Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore, has access to a full range of mortgage products so that you get the right loan with a great rate, the terms you're looking for, and costs to meet your unique needs. Call Mario Flores at 231-638-0200 today and experience the Van Dyke Mortgage difference.
Mario Flores, NMLS 135862, Van Dyke Mortgage Corporation, Corp NMLS 3035, 231-638-0200, marioflores.vandykemortgage.com. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
And we continue the Davenport Coaches Show live from the Uccellos in Caledonia, and our next guest is Travis Schuba, who is the interim head women's basketball coach for this season, and the team's already had a scrimmage, and they're getting ready for their season opener Friday at home against Maryville. Travis joins us right now, and let's first talk a little bit about, it's kind of an unusual situation because Rick Elbow brought you on as an assistant last year. You've known, he's known your family for many, many years. Your brother played for him at Aquinas, and now, and when he's gone, you've taken over for him. Kind of a little different dynamic. Talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. I, forever grateful for Rick bringing me in and allowing me to learn under him. And this was always the hope that him and I had for myself. When I joined last year was to eventually take over at some point, and a little earlier than we both had anticipated, but one that I am grateful for the opportunity and learned some great things under him and continue to learn now that I'm in charge, and just love being here and have a great group of girls that work extremely hard.
Travis, before you came to Davenport, you were a very successful high school boys basketball coach. Was there a point in your high school days that you said, you know what, I think I'd like to go into the college level eventually, or was that a goal all along?
All along, and I was fortunate enough to get the Traverse City Central job, which is in Northern Michigan a pretty high-profile job at the age that I did, and we ended up having some success. And all along, the goal was to get to college. I wasn't sure when, and I wasn't sure how. I had just, kind of been reaching out to some of the people that I knew in the college ranks, and if you know anyone, if you're ever looking, please, let me know, reach out. I'm looking to make the jump at some point, and Coach Elbow was that guy, and like I said, forever grateful for that opportunity.
You had an outstanding college career at Madonna University. Tell us how that shaped you as a future coach.
Yeah, I learned under a great head coach in Nolan Heiser, who was a young coach himself when he took over at Madonna.
I remember that, yeah.
He was 25 years old when he took over at Madonna, and I came in his second or third year, and so I saw him kind of mold into the coach that he is, and we still stay in touch. And I actually went over there last weekend to watch them play. They had 2 home games, but just the way that he prepared us and the way that he prepared himself night in and night out, and how we practiced allowed me to really see what it takes to be successful as a coach, and what it takes to be successful as a program. And my freshman year there, we won 8 games, and then we turned that program around into 1-25 in the first ever conference championship, and going to the national tournament. And obviously that's what we're trying to do here is get it back to its winning ways and turn it around.
Now, in between your college days and your high school days, Travis had one of the most interesting jobs in the world because he got to see the world as a member of the Harlem Globetrotters. Now, if you've got any of the Washington Generals, if you've got any basketball Jones in you know that the Washington Generals are the team that plays against the Harlem Globetrotters and gets shellacked night after night after night. Tell us about that experience. It had to be really interesting.
It was a lot of fun, to get paid to travel the world and play the game that you love, meeting so many interesting people along the way, and playing in every NBA arena, and meeting all the NBA coaches and players. And I've been to basically every major city in the U.S. and spent months across the pond overseas and weeks in Hawaii, and it was an unbelievable time to really enjoy life and see a lot of different things and meet a lot of people.
That's great. I have to ask you, though, when the Globetrotters are doing their bits, how much time is spent with the general saying, now when this guy goes and does this, you have to make sure you do this or make sure you don't do that?
It's we practice a lot, so the first bit, there's a training camp involved and all that kind of stuff. So you do your fair share of practicing to really get down the routine and know when you can and when you can't. And then the fun part for us was we knew what they were always doing, but offensively for us, we could just kind of free play. And so that was really our time to shine and show the crowd that we're good basketball players and have some fun.
You open Friday, 1 o'clock at home against Maryville. Kind of an odd time, Friday afternoon, 1 o'clock. What was the story there?
So we have home volleyball on Saturday, and so in order to adjust to that 24-hour or the 20-hour rule and allow them time to travel back for a long drive Saturday, we kind of bumped it up. That way we could kind of accommodate volleyball, the visiting team's travel schedule and all that.
All right, and finally, Travis, give us a couple of players that have looked really good in your practice and maybe in your scrimmage against Rochester earlier.
Yeah, so obviously we had the returners, Tony Grace, who's
an outstanding driver, yeah.
Absolutely, and so we're going to lean on her a lot. We bring back Scout Nelson, who we're going to lean on to provide some things for us on both ends and leadership-wise. Ronnie Sales, another starting guard for us. And then I think our bright spot inside so far has been a freshman for us, Lily Gustafson.
Where's she from?
She's from Heartland, Michigan.
Okay.
And so she comes in a little bit bigger than what we've had the last couple of years, and she can really move, and the girls trust her, and she gets after it on both ends. So we're really excited about the 14 girls that we have, and we're looking forward to getting to work.
All right, Travis Schuba, we appreciate you joining us. Go back and have some more of that good Uccello's food, okay?
I appreciate that.
We'll take a break, bring Sparky McEwen back one more time as we continue with the Davenport Coaching Show here.